It's 3 a.m. You're lying flat on your back, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. Your phone screen is the only light in the room, and your stomach just dropped because you just made the mistake of checking your bank balance. That number. That number. It doesn't make sense. You work hard. You're not stupid. You're not reckless. So why does it feel like no matter what you do, you're sinking? Here's what nobody is brave enough to tell you. You were never bad with money. You were engineered to fail. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact psychological weapons being used against you and the neuroscience-backed escape route that actually works. Stay with me. This one will genuinely change how you see yourself.
Let's start with a brain scan. When neuroscientists study people paying with physical cash, one region consistently activates, the insula, the same area that processes physical pain. Handing over real money literally registers in your brain like a minor injury. Evolution built this end to protect you from losing resources. Now here's the trap. The financial industry discovered this, and they systematically removed that pain. First came credit cards, then one-click checkout, then tap to pay, then buy now, pay later. Each innovation had one shared goal: eliminate the moment your brain screams, wait. When there's no cash leaving your hand, the insula stays quiet, but your brain's reward center, it floods with dopamine the moment you anticipate getting something new. You get the neurological high of acquiring with zero biological cost in the moment. The bill arrives 30 days later. The dopamine, gone for weeks. All that's left is the number and the interest rate quietly growing behind it. You weren't weak. You were outplayed by a system that spent decades studying your brain.
Now, here's where it gets deeply personal. Psychologists who study financial behavior talk about something called your financial blueprint, the unconscious money beliefs formed before you were even 10 years old. Think back. Did you ever feel the tension in a room when bills were being discussed in hushed voices? Did you ever watch a parent's face tighten at a checkout line? Did you ever feel the quiet sting of not having what the other kids had? Those moments don't just disappear at adulthood. They get wired in. And here's the painful irony. When many adults swipe a card for something they can't really afford, they're not being reckless. On a subconscious level, they're trying to heal that child. They're buying the feeling of abundance, the feeling of safety, the social acceptance that once felt out of reach. Debt becomes a time machine, an attempt to fix the past. The tragedy is that in doing so, we compromise the exact future we're trying to build.
Harvard researcher Senthil Mullainathan and Princeton psychologist Eldar Shafir spent years studying how financial stress affects cognition. Their finding was striking. Persistent financial worry can temporarily reduce effective cognitive functioning by the equivalent of a significant night of lost sleep, not because people are incapable, but because the brain is consumed. Think of it like a computer running a massive background program. Everything else slows down. When survival is the priority, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for long-term planning, impulse control, and strategic thinking, gets pushed aside. This is why someone drowning in debt might take a high-interest emergency loan. From the outside, it looks irrational. From inside a tunneling brain, it's pure survival logic. Put out today's fire, deal with tomorrow's fire tomorrow. The system calls this poor decision-making. The science calls it a predictable response to engineered stress. Now add one more layer. We live inside an algorithm that shows us a curated highlight reel of human life, luxury travel, designer purchases, restaurant meals, and our ancient social brain processes perceived status drops as genuine threats. For our ancestors, falling in social standing meant exile, real danger. So when you see someone else's apparent success, your nervous system doesn't pause to think, They might be financing this on 4 credit cards. It just panics. And the urge to spend to signal that you're okay, that you belong, feels urgent and real. A significant portion of the aspirational lifestyle content online is funded by debt that never gets shown. You are comparing your internal reality to someone else's external performance.
So what happens when shame about debt becomes unbearable? The brain does something remarkable and self-destructive. It looks away. Behavioral economists call this the ostrich effect, the tendency to deliberately avoid information that causes psychological pain. Unopened statements, deleted banking apps, notifications turned off. The unconscious logic, if I don't confirm the number isn't fully real yet. But avoidance doesn't freeze the debt. Late fees accumulate, interest compounds. The problem quietly grows in the dark. And the bigger it grows, the more unbearable it becomes to look at, so the avoidance deepens. It's not weakness, it's a defense mechanism misfiring in a modern context. And it can be interrupted.
Traditional financial advice will tell you to attack your highest interest debt first, mathematically optimal, emotionally brutal, and statistically likely to be abandoned within months. Behavioral psychology offers a different answer, the debt snowball. List every debt from smallest balance to largest, pay minimums on everything, throw every extra dollar at the smallest one until it's gone, then the next, then the next. Accountants wince, psychologists cheer, because paying off a small debt in 2 weeks gives you a genuine dopamine hit, the same neurological reward your brain has been chasing through spending, except now it's working for you. You are deliberately hacking your own reward system in the right direction. Add to this, reintroduce friction to your spending. Remove saved card details, disable one-tap payments, impose a 24-hour waiting rule before any non-essential purchase. You're not punishing yourself, you're giving your logical brain time to show up to the conversation.
Here's the truth that nobody in the personal finance world says loudly enough. You cannot think your way out of a shame spiral. The single most important first step is not a spreadsheet. It is not a budgeting app. It is forgiving yourself. You fell into a hole that was engineered by behavioral scientists, by algorithms, by systems that spent decades studying exactly how to bypass your brain's defenses. That is not a character flaw. That is a predictable outcome of a sophisticated trap. Debt is a temporary mathematical state. It is not a measure of your worth, your intelligence, or your potential. Once you remove the shame, or at least reduce its grip, you can do the hardest and most liberating thing. Open the envelope, log into the app, turn the light on. The moment you see the real number, it stops being a shapeless monster and becomes a solvable problem. You can finally see its actual size, its actual edges, and you can start.
If this video made something click for you, if it helped you feel understood rather than judged, I want you to do one thing right now. Look at your debts. Find the smallest one. Drop that number in the comments. Not for me, for you. Because saying a number out loud, even to strangers on the internet, begins to strip away its power. And if you want more content that goes beneath the surface of money, behavior, and the hidden psychology shaping your decisions every day, subscribe, hit the notification bell. This channel is built for people who are done with oversimplified advice and ready to understand what's actually going on. I'll see you in the next one.